Counter-Strike has a rich history filled with victory and defeat, joy and frustration, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. And you missed it, because you're new, right? Well, not for long. Coming into Counter-Strike as a new player is an intimidating experience. You are often competing with players with a decade of experience and thousands of hours. But don't worry. I'm not here to berate you with 100 facts, settings, and strategies that would just overwhelm you. Instead, we're here to learn the bare minimum to get you in-game experiencing the rich Counter-Strike history and closing the gap with the so-called veterans. So, let's get started. As a beginner, you don't need to know settings. Just play what your computer can run well. Play on the resolution you like. You don't have to do what the pros are doing or what a random YouTuber is telling you. Trust me, I see the irony. When you have a better grasp on the game, you will tune them to your liking. Callouts. You may hear the screaming of callouts in game. Car, new box, kitchen, B main. Callouts are important. It gives essential information. However, I think the most intuitive way to learn these is simply by playing. Skins. Skins are talked about with a lot of gusto in Counter-Strike. And trust me, this is a rabbit hole you don't want to go down at first. Grenade lineups. There are thousands of videos on grenade lineups. A lot of them are mine. You don't need these at first. Without the experience to apply the grenades properly, they'll simply be wasted. You may be like, shit, what do I need to know? Well, let's talk about the true Counter-Strike game mode, competitive. Competitive and Premier are the true Counter-Strike game modes. How do they work and how are they played? I'm going to focus on Premier since it's the most popular game mode since CS2 released. However, most of what I talk about also applies to competitive as well. Premier is a bomb defusal game mode. There are two sides, terrorists and counter-terrorists, also known as T and CT. The goal of the T side is to plant the bomb on one of two bomb sites or to eliminate the CT team. The goal of the CT side is to stop the Ts from planting, defuse the bomb if it is planted, or eliminate the enemy team. Simple, right? The game currently has the MR12 format. What this means is you either start as T or CT. After 12 rounds on that side, your whole team switches sides. 12 more rounds will then ensue. However, if one team wins 13 rounds, you win the game. The game will go into overtime if both teams each win 12 rounds. Then you'll fight for your life to win 4 more if you want to win the overall game. That's pretty much all you need to know. Well, what about other game modes? I'll be brief. Deathmatch is shooty. You have infinite lives and you just shoot whatever gun you want. This is a great way to get a grasp on the gunplay if you're just trying to practice that. Casual is the same as competitive, but dumbed down a lot. I honestly would avoid this game mode as it instills bad habits, but you do you. Wingman is similar to competitive, except the maps are much smaller and there's only 2 people per team. Premier, competitive, and Wingman all have ranks, but don't worry about that for now. Just enjoy and play. Your rank isn't permanent, so don't get caught up on it and just try to have some fun. Let's dive back into competitive and give you a few tips so you aren't totally lost. In the game, each player has money. You spend money on guns, armor, and grenades, also called utility. You gain money each round, whether you win the round, lose the round, or get kills during the round. You get more money for winning a round, you get less money from losing a round. The type of gun also determines how much money you get per kill. Complicated, right? This is something that you're going to learn more as you play the game, but let me just give you some simple strats so you don't look like a total noob the first time you go in. The first round of each half is called the pistol round. This is because you're poor and can't afford anything more than just the basics. This round is actually very important as it will swing the game because of economy. Economy is what we call the in-game money system. For you, just buy armor and nothing else. This is generally the strategy. Don't buy a pistol, nades, anything else. Just buy armor. The next round after the pistol round, I recommend doing this until you understand the in-game economy better. If you win the first round, then buy armor with a helmet and an SMG. If you lose, then buy nothing. If you were to lose the pistol round and you buy too much the next round, so you have very little money, this is called forcing. Forcing or force buying is when you really don't have the money to make a buy, but you buy what you can. This may sound logical, but it's generally a bad thing unless you know what you're going to do with your force. You want to save enough money so your whole team can buy good weapons, armor, and grenades together on the same round. this is called a full buy. An eco round, or ecoing, is when you buy very little or nothing at all. This is to allow your team to make a full buy on the next round, which puts the two teams, T and CT, on an even playing field. I don't want to break your brain, so I won't beat a dead horse here. So let's put it like this. The rest will fall into place when you play more. First round, buy armor. Second round, if you win the first round, buy armor with the helmet and an SMG. If you lost, buy nothing. Every round after that, just follow what your team is doing. Once you get the hang of the economy, you'll be leading the pack and you'll know exactly what you should be buying. But what guns are good? I'm just going to keep this simple by telling you what guns you should be using on each side and for what. For the CT side starting pistol, I would definitely go with the USP. It has really good range and accuracy, and it's a one-shot headshot if they don't have armor. If you're on an eco round and you need a different pistol option, I would go with the 5.7. I think the 5.7 is king right now. It has a large clip, it is really strong, especially when spammed up close and aiming for the head. I would default to the MP9 for almost all SMG situations on the CT side. For a shotgun, I would go with the Nova. It is way more accurate than you think. Just make sure to aim for the head. For your main assault rifle, this should be the thing that you're buying the most. Let's go with the M4A1S. It has very manageable recoil, it has decent running accuracy, and it's overall just really good. For your sniper, it's gotta be the AWP, the iconic weapon of Counter-Strike. One shot, one kill. For the T starting pistol, you actually don't have much of a choice. You can only use the Glock, but the Glock is still really good. Best used at close range and for spammage. For an eco round pistol, the Tech 9 goes crazy. It's really good for rushing. It has a very fast fire rate and does really good damage against armored opponents. The Mac 10 should be your go-to SMG on the T side. Great for running and gunning, and it's very, very cheap. Same story as CT, I really like the Nova. I just gotta say, the Nova's great. As an alternate assault rifle, I would definitely use the Galil. If you can't quite afford an AK, the Galil is the move. Although I would never spray the Galil, I would focus on bursting with it. And of course, we have the AK-47, one of the most iconic and probably the most used weapon in Counter-Strike. The AK-47 is so used because it is accurate, it has a defined spray pattern like all the other weapons, but one that people tend to memorize. Also, it has a one-shot headshot even against armor. And of course, again, we have the AWP. I would just use the AWP on both sides. The AWP is insane. One shot, one kill.
But Revan, you didn't talk about the Deagle.
Yeah, for new players, I didn't talk about the Deagle because you need to know one thing for the Deagle to actually be good, and that is counter-strafing. So let's talk about that. You might want to Ferrari peek your opponents, but you've noticed that you aren't exactly accurate when moving in CS. And that's where counter-strafing comes in. So what is counter-strafing? Even if you come from Valorant, you might not really know what counter-strafing is, or you didn't really do it. Valorant has 1/3 the momentum that CS does. So you have momentum when moving. Whenever you let go of a movement key, you don't just stop, you continue moving. As you can see here, I'm letting go of my movement key whenever I'm over the character's head, but I continue moving on. Counter-strafing eliminates this momentum by inputting the opposite movement key. So to put it simply, if you're moving left with A, then whenever you want to stop, you just tap D. It is that simple, but it is a skill that you must master and you'll be great at CS. One simple way to practice this is just pick two objects near each other, then go back and forth strafing, trying to get accurate shots at, let's say, the corner of these two objects. You strafe, counter-strafe, shoot, strafe, counter-strafe, shoot, and you'll be good at counter-strafing in no time. One thing that you might not think of is don't mix your movements.
Don't cross the streams. Why? It would be bad.
So whenever you're actually trying to peek something, don't mix walking forward with walking sideways, because that means to counter-strafe effectively, you'd also have to tap backwards and tap the other direction as well. And even the best players are not very good at this. If you want to peek something, just go in one direction, usually left or right, and tap the opposite key. Okay, I promise we're almost done. Now, I said you didn't need grenade lineups, and I stand by that. However, nades are so incredibly important. Your use of them will increase as you play. Let's talk about what each one does and what they're actually for. So what are smoke grenades for? Well, the easy answer is they block vision, but that's really a mechanic of the smoke and not what the smoke achieves. So this is a common smoke setup on Mirage A site by the T side as they're trying to take site. But what are these smokes actually accomplishing? Smokes accomplish three things: isolation, creating space, and creating angles. What these smokes allow the T side to do is isolate site. Now they can come onto site without outside interference of rotators rotating the site. That allows them to create space on site, clearing out the site so they can do what they have to do. So the last thing that grenades do is allow you to create your own angles. So if I'm playing here and there's T's coming onto site, maybe they're smoking me off, whatever it is, I only have this angle to play off of, right? Well, I can create new angles. So let's say I smoke right here. Basically what the smoke allows me to do is take the sight one bite at a time rather than just the whole sandwich. So what are flashbangs for? Well, obviously flashbangs flash you. But in reality, flashbangs are opportunity creators, giving you the opportunity to eliminate your enemies without them being able to see you. Essentially, flashbangs allow for surprise attacks. So what are HEs for? HE grenades allow you to punish positions and people, and an important note is that HEs will slow down your opponents in addition to dealing damage. So for example, that grenade that I just threw for a banana rush, that's gonna severely slow me down as I'm trying to rush banana, along with dealing a lot of damage. It should also be noted that HEs in CS2 clear smoke so that you can see your enemies through the smoke and get that opportunity. So what are Molotovs for? Essentially, Molotovs are the Gandalfs of CS2. It allows you to deny access to positions, and if they do still want to access it, they're going to have to take a lot of damage. One thing to note about the Molotovs is they are put out by smokes. However, this is usually a good thing for the Molotov thrower. They've successfully slowed you down and cost you a utility. So now you have a full buy of knowledge to get into your first game of Counter-Strike. Play, have fun, learn if you want, and remember that every moment in the game is a chance to improve, to meet new friends, or maybe enemies. Before long, you will be the veteran. Thanks guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I stream on Twitch. I also post on TikTok. This took me 60 hours to write, film, and edit. I really hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and have a good one.